Hey y'all, let's talk about having to live in a van or a car again. I talked about this a couple days ago, but I thought about van life. As usual, people are being forced into vehicles. So many seniors, especially women. So my thoughts today went to this again, and I wanted to share my thoughts, okay? So first, let's have coffee, and then second, we all have troubles in life, and I thought about this. That's not negative. It's just truth. Nothing is a for sure anymore, and in life all through the ages, nothing is a for sure. There is no promise of smooth sailing all the time. People have told you, or may have told you, if you just work hard, everything's going to work out, right? Well, sometimes it does, and then sometimes it doesn't. Life throws you into the deep end. It throws you a big curve, right? Yeah. It's happening more and more these days. It's unexpected, it's totally unfair, and it's totally doubly unwelcome. Who wants that? Nobody does. But here you are, and here I am. I'm Minivan Lee, and I live in my minivan. Maybe you're watching this from the driver's seat of your van. Or maybe you're scared that you'll end up here. I think that happens with a lot of you out there. Yeah. You're watching from your houses. But you know what? You're not alone, and you're not crazy. And you're definitely not weak. I think people think, I could never do that. Well, guess what? I think you could. I really do. People throughout history have had to move. Through all time, people have had to move. And they've had to travel somewhere. They've been called to go do something. Or things didn't work out, and they had to book out of where they were. They had to uproot, and they had to start over with nothing but the clothes on their backs. That's truth right there. They weren't failures. They were survivors. We're all survivors. And I really want to bring this inspiration to you because I thought about this. They were you in the past. They were you. None of us are promised comfort. I think we are, but we're not. But we were built to overcome things. We're strong. And so that's the big difference. And I'll tell you what the big difference is. And I want to talk about this. I talk about this all the time. Attitude. Attitude is everything. And I think most of you know that. You've seen it. Two people can face the same exact situation. I've seen it. Somebody's in a van over here and somebody's in a van over here, and they had to do it. One falls apart, right? And the other one pushes through and finds something beautiful on the other side. They have gratitude. They're thankful for what they actually have. And throughout history, people have had to do that. They've had to look at the gratitude. So my message today isn't about pretending that, everything's okay all the time, right? It's not about plastering on this big smile or pretending you're not scared, because a lot of you are. It's really about deciding that fear won't run your show, okay? That even if your eyes are full of grieving, and you may have been crying, I mentioned that last couple days ago, but your spirit stands tall. Pull your shoulders back and stand tall. You're going to get through this. You don't need to apologize for where you are. I hear it in comments. Every once in a while, somebody will be like, well, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. What? You don't owe anyone a perfect looking life. You're not here to impress strangers on the internet, and you're here to live. You're here to live your life. You're here to live it however it comes at you or however you might choose it to be. And living sometimes means surviving for a while before you can thrive again. You just might be forced into your vehicle for whatever reason. So let's talk about this so-called van life, right? Okay, I had a comment, and they said, "Oh, the hippies started that." Actually, the hippies didn't start this van life, this nomad lifestyle. It happened way back. Well, it happened way, way back, but we didn't have cars still like the 1920s or whatever. But during the 1930s, the Great Depression, and also, what about covered wagons? I mean, that was way back too, right? But as far as vehicles, families had to pack into their cars because of the Depression. They had to travel west. They were chasing work. They were chasing hope. And they weren't influencers. They had the Model Ts, and they built wood around it on their Model T trucks, Model A trucks. I mean, they were desperate. They had a whole family inside of their car. But even in that desperation, they kept going. There's where the human spirit comes in, because deep down they knew they had no other choice. I mean, they had mouths to feed, right? I mean, they had other people, they had family, they had other souls they had to protect. A lot of us are on our own, but they had a whole family. And really, just like you, I mean, it's traumatic, but they didn't go to, but they didn't go to therapists. They sucked it up and made something happen. When God tells you to move, guess what? You move. Because he'll keep prodding you until you do, right? And sometimes he doesn't whisper it gently. Sometimes he slams the door on what's going on in your life right at that moment. You have no choice but to move. I know. Oh, yeah. When it shuts, it's so hard. You're standing there in shock, wondering what just happened. Yeah, did I just lose my job? Oh, my gosh. I mean, the lease didn't renew this time? Oh, no. And where's my friends? They all seem to have disappeared on me, right? And you realize you can't find a house to live in. So what are you going to do? So you find yourself inside your car or your van or your truck, whatever. I've seen it so many times. Your trailer, if you have a trailer. Yeah. Some prepared and some didn't. But the door slammed and you had to make a choice. So what are you going to do? You're going to get in your vehicle, or you're going to cry and go sit out in the streets? So you're looking around trying to make sense of what just happened. Actually, let's look at it this way. That's not failure. That's kind of a movement. Your life is in a movement right now. So if you can look at it that way, and that's obedience you didn't even know you had in you. You had to move. And I really believe firmly that we were built to be strong. Our minds and our bodies. God didn't create weak vessels. That was a mouthful, wasn't it? He created adaptable, intelligent creatures. That's what we are, right? I mean, we can adapt. We have the front lobe. We can make decisions. We have mental muscle. We have emotional muscle. We have spiritual muscle going on. We can endure this. So this is your inspirational chat right now. If your world feels like it's shrinking, your courage is going to start expanding. It really will. I promise you. Your bank account is drying up, and your wisdom, that means your wisdom has to rise, right? Rents right now are so high, and the housing crisis is real. I mean, you personally didn't mess it up, did you? No, but you're in it. And you didn't plan poorly. So many people say, well, you should have planned for this. A lot of us were taking care of the people. We were raising the people that are alive now. A lot of women were. Yeah. You are living through a system that's been collapsing. It's been collapsing for probably a lot. It's been a long time. And it just hit you harder than it hits others for right now. Yeah. Be sad if you want to. I mean that. There's no shame in being sad about if you have to go live in your car for a while. You're not made of stone. You might be grieving over it. But once the tears fall, pull your shoulders back and lift your chin. You make it your adventure. That's all I got to say. There's your attitude. Make it an adventure. right? Because here's the truth no one wants to say. You don't always have choices. I guess you could go sleep in the streets, but who wants that choice, right? It's either your vehicle or the streets. If your lease is up or you can't find a place or you got evicted, yeah. And when that eviction notice hits your door and your rent jumps and you're priced out, I mean, that's not fair, is it? It's not right. But it's reality. And what are you going to do about it, you know? You were built for reality. We don't have to have everything, just rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes a harsh reality does hit. You were built to outlast it. I promise that. You really were. This moment in your life, it's not the end. It's just it's another chapter. Yeah, it's a pivotal moment in your life. And yes, it might be the hardest thing you have to go through. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do this, but I know I've met a lot of people that they didn't want to do this at all. But here's the thing, here's the thing. It might also be the beginning of the most real, the most raw, the most connected season that you've ever known. You're going to meet people that you never would have met before. You'll learn things that you never thought you'd need to know. It's going to be fun, I promise you. You'll get quieter, and your mind and your spirit will get clearer. I spend a lot of time alone, and I'm telling you, my spirit is very clear at this point. It just goes that way, right? Your mind is closer to what matters. And this isn't some, I don't want to hand you some fake silver lining talk, but this really is the truth. So I didn't want to sugarcoat it. I wanted to just give you a little bit of an inspiration, because some of you might find yourself here. And I think that's what scares a lot of you the most. This is survival. But you know what? Survival can actually be fun. It really can. You're not out here to impress anybody. You're just out here to live your life. And no matter where you park tonight, you're still walking with God, okay? Yeah. So know that somebody's got your back. You're still breathing. You're still adapting. The world didn't fall apart. You're still here. You're still here. If this is you out there right now, you're still here. And you're going to make it through, I promise. And you know what? That really means something. It really does. Yeah. So now what? What are you going to do now? If you're out here, or you think you're going to be out here, here's what few will tell you about life on the road. Yeah. Life on the road, when you let go of the fear, it really is a blast. If you talk to nomads who have been out here a long time, like you would talk to Max or my friend Rhonda, we do this and we love it. It really is a blast. What do you get? You get freedom. You get the no rent. You have no noisy neighbors. And they're not banging on your wall or up on your ceiling, right? You get to wake up to a new place. Excuse me, I got coffee burps. Yeah. You have a new energy, a new view. You can chase the sun if you want to. You can find the quiet spots wherever you can find them. And best of all, you get to find you. And that's what's going to happen. The road almost feels like it's yours. I know when I first became a nomad, when I was driving around on the road, it really felt like it was mine, because that's where I lived at the time. Yeah, it's like you own the road. I mean, you know what I mean. You can drive with the windows down, with the radios on, with the coffee cup, course, and you take your drinks when you want to. And something in your spirit says, you know what? This is mine. This is my life. This is freedom. So you don't need permission. No, you don't need approval. And the challenge, I'm going to tell you right now, it is invigorating. You solve problems you never thought that you could solve. You become very independent. You can fix things now. You figured things out that you didn't when you were just sitting in your lazy boy chair. Yeah, hearing people, hearing your neighbors up above you, right? And you're going to learn to rely on your own strength. Yeah. That's what we all learn when we're out here. So if you're here, if you're living in your vehicle now, in this life, in this moment, just know it all. You were built for this. You were built for this. You're doing better than you think. You can do this. You can. Yeah, so there you go. Please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And share this with your friends and your family. That might find part of it could be inspiring for them too. And for those who scoff and want to be negative about this, these days no one, I'm telling you, is totally secure with a comfortable life. Yeah. I mean, go read your history books, right? Go read them, because nothing is a for sure. History goes in waves, right? So, yeah, I love you. Mwah. Until tomorrow, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in comments what you think. I want to know what you think about this. Yeah. This has been going on for eons, for civilizations. People have to move. Sometimes nations are up. Sometimes they're down. Yeah. Our country has been, over the past, over 200 years, have been through its ups and downs. So, yeah. I love you guys. See you tomorrow, okay? Bye.